Hello, this is Dr. Panigrai. Welcome to my biology classes for NEET exam. Today, I will discuss about different types of immune cells. So, those cells involved in immune system known as immune cells. What are these and where they are present? We have to know. So, we all know that blood contains all such tools or all such cells, immune cells, or where these are present. The blood actually composed of plasma, you all know, and cells or corpuscles. Such corpuscles, these are three types: red blood corpuscles, platelets, and white blood corpuscles. Such white blood corpuscles, also known as leukocytes. These leukocytes actually take part in our defense system. These leukocytes classified into two on the basis of the granules. The granular leukocytes, and agranular leukocytes. The granules present in cytoplasm known as the granular leukocytes, and the agranular leukocytes means the granules are absent. So granular leukocytes, also known as polymorphonuclear leukocytes. Polymorphonuclear leukocytes. And the agranular leukocytes is known as the mononuclear leukocytes. Mononuclear leukocytes. Polymorphonuclear leukocytes, also known as PML, polymorphonuclear leukocytes, and mononuclear leukocytes. Such polymorphonuclear leukocytes again classified into three. Some are basophil. On the basis of their staining behavior, they are classified into three: basophil, eosinophil, and neutrophil. The basophil actually responsible for inflammation reaction in immune system by the secretion of histamine, and particularly the histamine secreted from basophil or the mast cell. Mast cell is the modification of basophil. So the modification of basophil is mast cell, responsible for inflammation reaction. The eosinophil, such eosinophil actually responsible for allergic reaction because such eosinophil secrete some toxic substance, toxic materials against the pathogen and responsible for allergic reaction. But the neutrophil not responsible for inflammatory reaction or not responsible for allergic reaction, but it acts as phagocytic cell. Phagocytic cells. It can engulf 5 to 10 number of bacteria in their lifetime. So, in defense system, neutrophil is regarded as phagocytic cell, eosinophil responsible for allergic reaction, basophil responsible for inflammatory reaction. And these cells are the members of the granular WBC. So, granular WBC of the leukocytes actually 60%. Rest 40% is agranular leukocytes or the mononuclear leukocytes. These leukocytes again two types. One is monocyte and another is lymphocytes. Monocytes and lymphocytes. Lymphocytes and another is monocytes. Monocytes, this is the larger cell having a large nucleus. It has the it acts as the phagocytic cell. It acts as phagocytic cell. Phagocytic cell. But such monocytes modified into macrophages and dendritic cell. It modified into macrophages. Macrophages and dendritic cells. So the monocytes, the modification of monocytes is the dendritic cells which present most probably in the lymphatic organs, and macrophage is the phagocytic cell which can engulf about 10 numbers of bacteria before die. And such macrophages also two types. Some are fixed and some are wandering macrophages or moving macrophages. These macrophages along with the reticular cells, it forms the reticuloendothelial system. Reticuloendothelial system. Reticuloendothelial system. So, macrophages and dendritic cells, these are the phagocytic cell. Somehow they engulf the bacteria and represent such bacteria or the antigen to the other immune cells. That's why it is known as antigen presenting cells. So these cells also known as the antigen presenting cells. So come to the lymphocytes. So all these cells, all these lymphocytes or all these WBC actually develop from the bone marrow, but it get mature. Some of the lymphocyte mature inside the thymus gland, and some of the lymphocytes in immature stage circulate in our circulatory system. After circulation, they again back to the bone marrow, and where they get matured, and it is known as the B cells. So lymphocytes, they may differentiated into T cells. These cells mature inside the thymus glands. That's why it is known as the thymus derivative cell. Thymus derivative cells or T cells. The another group of cells, these cells develop inside the bone marrow or mature inside the bone marrow, and these cells are known as bone marrow derivative cells or B cells, or this is known as the beta cells. Bone marrow derivative cells. These T cells or thymus derivative cells or B cells, bone marrow derivative cell, these are the population of lymphocytes. Some of the lymphocyte not differentiated into thymus derivative cells or bone marrow derivative cell, these are known as the null cell. Null cells. These null cells again two types. Some are known as NK cell, natural killer cell. NK cell or natural killer cell, and some are known as the only K cell or killer cell. Only K cells or the killer cell. So here the T lymphocytes, it may be 70 to 75% of lymphocytes. This is the T lymphocytes, and 15 to 30% population, it is the B lymphocyte, and rest is the null cell. T cells also differentiated into three types: the T helper cell, the T cytotoxic cell, the T suppressor cell. Those cells having the glycoprotein on the surface, and the glycoprotein is known as the cluster determination. Cluster determination. If the cluster determination 4 type, which is known as the T helper cell. if the surface of cell contains cluster determination 8 number, this is known as the cytotoxic T cytotoxic cell. And this is the T suppressor cell. It is present, but it is somehow the function and the mechanism of this cell is unknown. So these are the different cells. I hope you understand. These are the different immune cells. Some act as the antigen presenting cell, some act as the phagocytic cell, some are responsible for the humoral immunity, some are responsible for the cell-mediated immunity, and all these cells develop or origin inside the bone marrow. After development in immature stage, they circulate in our body. After circulation, at the time of maturation, they enter into the some are enter into the thymus, some are enter into the bone marrow. Inside the bone marrow, inside the thymus, they get matured. Those are matured inside the thymus, known as the thymus derivative cell, and those are matured inside the B cell bone marrow. Those are known as the B cells or bone marrow derivative cell. In case of birds, there is no bone marrow. There the cells develop or mature inside the bursa fibricus. That's why these are the immune cells responsible for the defense system, and I hope you understand better. If you like, click on my next video to get more video like this. Thank you for clicking.